Hey everybody, God bless you guys. I'm a little bit late. I was supposed to be on yesterday, but was not able to make it. But I didn't want to conclude the week without doing another segment. I hope everyone is well and starting the year off great. Um, I've been having this phrase or this word in my mind and my heart these past few days, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I think it's important that we know what this means, right? And it's the word God is in the details. God is in the details. When I think about this, there's a verse that comes to mind, and it's where Jesus is saying in Luke chapter 12, verse 7, indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worthy than more than many sparrows. Um, one of the things that I really enjoy about this particular passage is, number one, God knows us in every detail, that He knows how many hairs are on our heads. He's very precise and perfect in his craftsmanship, that he knows us in every detail, because at the end he created us. But also the thing that I really enjoy about this particular verse is that it reflects the value um, of what he feels towards us as his children. It's that special value that God has us in as his children, and so when I think about this, I'm reminded of how important it is to know that God is a God of details. When we look at the creation, the time that it took to create the heavens and the earth, we look at God's craftsmanship, we look at God's power, we look at God's authority, and the formation of mankind, and the formation of everything that surrounds us today. And we understand how important it is to understand that God moves even in the smallest details of our lives. God can speak to us in those ways and forms. So many times we want to see God and this big moment, or in this big major decision, or this great miracle that has occurred, and all that is amazing. But so many times we forget that God can also show up in the small details. And it's those small miracles that sometimes no one notices. Sometimes it's those small blessings, if you will, that someone rarely acknowledges, because it's not anything major or big, if you will. But God is in every detail. God is working in every detail, and every detail is made by Him and for Him, and it's for His glory. And so today, I want to briefly share with you how important this is, especially for this year as we begin a new year, is to understand how can we see God in the details. We see God in the details to begin with when we wake up. We see God in the details when we look outside the window and we're able to see the ray of sunshine hit our window, or as we're driving, and we're surrounded by people, or when we're at work or around our family. I want you to begin to see God in every detail, even when He's using people to speak to our lives in ways that maybe is not at a church. God can speak to you at someone's home, um, someone that you don't know. God can do things in your job that can throw you off track, that may not seem like it's what you expected. God can move in ways where your finances are now changing, something you were not expecting. But we have to begin to look at God in the details. And we have to begin to see how God is trying to show us something that maybe right now does not make sense. One thing that I've learned about God is God does not want me to try to understand Him. Let me be clear today. God is not wanting for you to understand Him, or for it to make sense in our mind. but instead he wants us to trust in him and to understand that what he is doing in our lives is for our best. But so often we derail our thoughts and we look at other things outside of us, that we forget to see God in the small details. When you see someone that blesses you with a cup of coffee, God is in the details. When you see someone that is at the gas station, and they decide to, fill your gas up for free, God is in the details. When you see, you were close to having a car accident, and all of a sudden the vehicle swerved the opposite direction, and you're like, wow, that was close. God is in the details. And I want to encourage you this year to begin to see God from that angle. In other words, God, what are you trying to show me in this phase of my life? What are you trying to speak to me directly in this particular season, in this particular stage, and in this particular point of where I'm at right now? And I can assure you right now that God will speak directly to your heart. He will give you direction. He will give you understanding as of what he's trying to show you in those particular moments. When I look back and I reflect on the moments that I felt as if God was not present, he was indeed present, but it wasn't the details that I was looking at. It was the big picture. And I think that sometimes the challenge that we encounter as human beings is that we want to see the big picture, right? We want to see what's in front of us without realizing that God is showing us details before the big picture. You've ever seen a movie where you're at the theater and you're about to watch a specific movie, but before then there's a preview trailers of other movies that are about to come out. And maybe even before you went to watch that particular movie, there was a trailer that kind of caught your interest to want to go and watch that movie. Well, I believe that sometimes God works that way as well, where he'll give you a preview of what he's trying to show you, and he wants to encourage you to press on and to press forward and to understand that through the smallest details he is speaking to our hearts, whether it be adjustments in our lives and our family, in our personal life, maybe with our spouse, or with our children's and our children, and the ministry, and every area. God is trying to speak to us. I think the challenge sometimes is that we don't seem to listen the way we need to listen. And we're like that child, right? When we asked them, "Did you hear what I told you?" And they're just nodding their head, right? And they're just nodding their head because they're just kind of going with the flow. And I think that sometimes that's us with God, is that we're just kind of nodding our head, just kind of saying, "Yeah, God, yeah, God, yeah, God," but not really paying attention to what He's trying to show us. Psalms 37, verse 23, another passage that speaks about the details, is the Lord directs the steps of the godly. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. Another version is those that fear him, and he delights in every detail of their lives. He delights in every detail of their lives. Man, I love that. I love that. He delights, he enjoys every detail of us, of his creation. Everything about you is God's creation. Did you hear me? Everything about you is God's creation. He made you exactly the way you are. You may look like your mom, you may look like your dad, you may actually look like both. You may even have the same movement. You may walk like them. You may even talk like one of them. And those are the details of God's creation. Funny enough, when you have a child and that child is like your mini me, there's no coincidence. That's God's creation. That's God's perfection in us. And so he delights in every detail of our lives. I want you to just, let that soak into your mind for a moment. How God delights, he enjoys every detail of our life. It's like God is trying to show you how unique you are before his eyes, and how special you were created when you were formed in your mother's womb, and how his craftsmanship and his perfection were made as he was creating you. And a lot of us, are miracle babies. A lot of us are babies that maybe should have not been born, because of issues that maybe your mom went through when she got pregnant, or maybe they couldn't have family, and then all of a sudden here you are today. Again, it's the details. It's God working. It's God's miracle power. It's God moving in the middle of our lives. And I want you to understand right now that even right now, as we speak, as you hear me today, He's orchestrating things in your life. He's working in your life. I like to say that God works behind the scenes. It's where we don't see him. It's where he's moving things. He's moving mountains. He's moving doors. He's aligning people in our lives to fulfill his purpose. And that's what I enjoy about God. That's what I love about God, is that in every single detail, he's working for our best. He's working for our good, because the outcome that he has for us, it's great. It's glorious. It's unimaginable. But we have to understand that God is in the details. I remember a few years back, actually several years back, I was working at a job, and I got called to the office, and they told me that my job was no longer available. I was being released. My job was being eliminated, and I was going to get a severance pay for about 2 months, if you will. And I had so many mixed emotions. I didn't know what to expect. I thought about the bills. I thought about our the expenses of our house, such as the groceries, gas. I thought about, what am I going to tell my wife? What am I going to tell the kids? I was like, I don't have a job. And the big picture was that I'm now unemployed. And what am I going to do to be able to cover myself for the next 10 months of what's left of the year? And I was not looking at the details. I was just looking at the fact that I was unemployed. And in the middle of that, I was updating my resume, and I was spending time with God in prayer every morning and asking God to show me what was He trying to show me, what was He trying to speak to my heart about. And fast forward, He moved in a way where I went to be a part of a company for nearly 6 years. And I remember that in that position, I was able to grow not only as an individual, but um, also as a leader. And my skills and my experience grew in a way where I never imagined that I would be in a role today, and my career, where it's now more of a global focus, and it's something that I never imagined that God would put me in a position like this. And not only that, but even in ministry, where I'm able to be a blessing to other people, not only in the US, but just in different parts around the world. And I give God the glory, because when that happened, I was not able to see the details. I was not able to see what God was trying to show me, which was He wanted to spend more time with me. He wanted me to be closer to Him. And when that happened, I was able to hear what He was trying to show me. I was trying to figure things out on my own, and not look at God in the details. And I missed so many things because I was so worried and concerned, not realizing that God had already thing in His hands. So many times you could be in a part of your life where maybe you lost your job, or maybe your marriage is rocky, or maybe your children or your child is like out of control. Well, yeah, look at the big picture, but also look at God in the details. What is God trying to show you? Where's God trying to take you with that? What is God trying to reveal to you in those moments? But also, what is the outcome that we're expecting? I want to conclude with this today, and I want to remind you with this. In John 21, it's when Jesus is with his disciples, and they've been fishing all night. And it's incredible because at that moment, Jesus tells Peter, "Hey, throw the net." And you can say, "But the night before we didn't catch anything." I get it, but hear me out. I want you to cast your net now. And the instruction was clear, but it seemed impossible. And we all know the story in John 21 that when Peter threw the net, he caught so much fish that the net began to rip. And you could tell me right now, I've tried this and I've done that, and I have not accomplished anything. But look at the details. God is saying, try it again. God is saying, do it again, but this time do it in my name. Do it out of obedience, not because you have to. And I think it's those moments where we begin to see God moving in the midst of our lives. I wanna leave you with this tonight. And even today, I want you to reflect on your day. Reflect on the details. Reflect, where was it that you could have seen God that maybe you didn't see him because you were looking at the big picture. I saw God today through some sleet that we had here in Kaufman. I saw God through my wife, through my daughter. I saw God through my job in ways where he speaks to my life. And we have to be open-minded to see where God is present at that moment and what he's trying to show me and the details, and to know that he does not make a mistake and he will never make a mistake, and everything that he is doing is for our good, it's for our best, and he knows the outcome. He just wants us to understand what he's trying to show us behind the scenes. I hope this word, man, has been a blessing to you. I want to encourage you to share it with others as well. If this has been a blessing to you, feel free to add a comment to this video if it's been a blessing to your life. And subscribe. Spread the word. I want to continue being a blessing to those that need to hear a word from heaven. And I pray this is a blessing to you as well today. So, with that being said, have a great day wherever you're at as you hear me. And the Lord bless you. And we will be back again next week. God bless you. Bye.